Welcome to another edition of Move Through Motivation. Matt Olson here with my dear friend, good brother, the mayor of our town. He's known as Brandon Plott, but I call him BP. So that's his nickname. A good dude. Welcome, Brandon.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate it, man. As always, my man. Thank you.
Me and Brandon go way back. I'd say we've known each other for about 6 or 7 years now.
Yeah.
Before he ran for city council, before he became mayor, we were gym rat buddies. We were the two bald head guys. He has no hair, just like me.
Yep.
And we would hang out at 24 Hour Fitness and chat, and just an all around good dude. And I'm really glad we get to get him on here because we could talk about a couple things that have happened this year. He was one of the biggest advocates and pushers for the Just Move campaign in the city, and getting behind it and coordinating and structuring all of the necessary entities to start the Just Move campaign, and it's been very successful. So first off, I want to say thank you for that.
No, hey, dude. When we were talking about it at the gym, and I was pretty pumped, man.
Yeah.
I remember we were talking about this idea, and I was like, absolutely, man. We'll totally rally behind that, and we'll get the city involved, get the parks involved. Anything like that, man, where you're bringing people together and making them, basically get out and live healthier lives. But more importantly, I always think one of the biggest issues we have, as a society, is we just don't connect. We don't have human connection anymore.
Right.
And
everything's on social media.
There's a lot of pros to the digital age and social media, but there's a lot of cons to it. And one of those cons is people not connecting with each other. And I think what the Just Move campaign does, that's really what I liked about it. It's doing it through fitness. It's the means the means is fitness of doing it, but the reality is you're connecting people. It just you get once you start building relationships with people, man, you just, I don't know, things end up being better. So no doubt, man.
It's been like that. I will never forget. We did our first one in June, and we were nervous about it, but at the same time, like, our city saw its first protest, and so I was like, man, if people come together to unite under that to bring people together, maybe this would help and bridge some gaps. And
the timing was perfect. It really was, man. It was a great timing, man.
Yeah, and so it's been better and better, and I know that there's still restrictions on certain things, but we want people to get together and bond, and break down barriers and unite the city, and so it's been really exciting. The other thing that's really cool is because of that, we got an award. The city of Eastvale and the Chamber of Commerce awarded the Move Through Motivation team with the Community Service Award, and so I was surprised, and you were shocked, and
dude, it was well deserved, man.
We were very grateful, very
you did
grateful.
A good job. Your speech was good, man. Yeah. It was well deserved, man. I know there's a committee. I'm not involved in that whole situation, but there was a committee that's involved in it, and so it was the right pick. It was the right pick. There, in my opinion, there's a lot of people. There's a lot of really active community members in Eastvale, but I think at least if we're talking about in the year's span, and we're talking about this year, you definitely were the standout, in my opinion. Yeah. You were definitely the standout, and that's not because we're friends or we're close. You were definitely the standout. And it was the right pick. It was you guys and your team just did an amazing job. And the fact that you get 100 plus people, and without any city help, without any parks help, because basically during COVID we're not really allowed to, right? So with just being able to do it word of mouth and getting 100 plus people every time we do this. I think it's a great thing. And imagine when kind of the veils are open, when COVID's done and the veils kind of open up, imagine what's going to happen. Yeah. It's going to be an awesome thing, man.
Yeah, and I think that's one thing we talk about is we want all ages. We have such a diverse community of some families that have older family members with them, and that was in the beginning, like, how do we connect? And so we make it just walk, run, bike, crawl, push, in a wheelchair, in a stroller, everybody to be a part of this movement.
So if you're handicapped, wherever you can raise the roof, kind of thing, set up push-ups.
Exactly.
You get everyone out, man.
Yeah, doesn't matter. It's been a lot of fun. So let's talk about mayor. You're almost done with your term.
I got two more months to go.
2 more months. 4 years, right?
Well,
how long has it been?
The term's 4 years, and I've been a council member. So in Eastvale, and most cities are like this in California, you serve the term as a mayor for 1 year, right? Okay. And it's a rotational it's almost like a title that rotates, but your term is really a council member. So this is my last year as being a council member, but serving as the mayor for the city. So this is that year, and I'm basically done. My last day is December 9th. So it's kind of a, it's an exciting day, and but it's also sad too. Like I'm bummed. I really do, and I mean I really enjoy it. It's been fun, even during this time of craziness, and you talk about a global pandemic and civil unrest. I've personally have enjoyed it. I think I've got to connect people on a far more personal level than you would normally because of the circumstances.
Right.
And with that, you make some deeper connections with people that you normally wouldn't. A lot of things are on the surface. You do things, policies, you drive things, as a council member, mayor. This year, same thing. You're still doing a lot of those things. A lot of things are on the surface, but definitely got the chance to get a little more deeper with people because people are a little more sensitive right now and a little more emotional. At least they were, but definitely still are, No,
and you've done, like I tell everybody, like our city has just been fantastic on when it comes to the city staff, Brian, city manager, and that team and the city council just really working together to keep everybody to remember to just take care of. And you really addressed it in your speech the other night about that, like showing compassion to another, just extending that extra bit of grace and encouragement during this time because it's uncertain for so many different reasons, so many different people, so many stressors. But you guys have kept a really level head and not really high, not really low, and it brings a calming sense to a crazy situation in the world right now. And you guys have done a great job.
Yeah, I think the important thing is you talk about that. I think I'll say as a team collectively, city staff, my colleagues, council members, everyone's done a phenomenal job. I think for me personally. You have your opinions, and everyone has a right to express their opinion. But I think when you're in a position of a council member, mayor, or even city staff, it's really important to know that the most important thing is not to divide. Yeah. So whether so it's really like kind of what you just said. You said something about kind of being just kind of even keel, middle, and you just kind of got to roll with it and just making sure that you're taking care of your people, number one most important thing. And so being even keeled, like to making sure you're not dividing people through maybe strong opinions and. So we just
not picking a team. Like, are you team this, team that? Do you believe?
You might have it, and you might have that opinion of where you stand, but you just. Yeah. I think in local politics in particular, which is a nonpartisan position, I think it's very important to take care of your people. Yeah. That's it, and kind of go from there. So
city's done really well during this time, right?
I mean, oh my gosh,
we have restaurants, we have hotels coming in. Our very first hotel in Eastvale.
Dude, it's crazy,
ground
man.
already.
Dude, it's already broke. If you go down, Hamner and Schleiseman, you'll see it's already starting to be built. Should be done 12, 14 months. That's our 4.5-star hotel with a rooftop bar. This bar is sick, man. Yeah. I've already seen the renderings for it. It looks like something you'd see in LA. Kind of something really nice. Got glass casing everywhere.
Oversees the
Norco Valley.
Yeah.
You got a cabana pool area. So yeah, it's like if you were to take, man, it's kind of crazy. This is why I used the phrase twice, and I kind of wrote this in the script. And I don't even know where it came from. I might have heard it from somewhere, but it's always locked in my head. It's been in my head for a long time. But the phrase is, we're not surviving, we're thriving, right? Surviving means you're holding on, right? You're just hanging
grasping
on, right? Instead, you're thriving, right? And I kind of, what I'll equate it to is your situation, right? When you got diagnosed, you weren't looking at it like, man, I'm just going to survive this thing through. You were like, no, I'm going to freaking kick its butt. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to be a beacon of light for others, right? That's thriving. And I think as a city, collectively, that mentality is the same. The work we've put in the last 2 years in particular, 3 years, it's paid off in this year, the pandemic. And if you looked at the stats of what has happened this year, literally the economic development has been one of the best that we've seen. This year and last year particularly were the best times of economic development. So you have, nice restaurants coming in. You got Sprouts coming in, the 99 Ranch Market, the hotel, this ramen bar that has a full whiskey bar, like really changing the dynamic of what is going on, in our city. Instead of nothing happening,
everybody boarding up everything and going away, right?
And our finances are strong as ever. So we came out of it out of this last year. Our calendar ends, on June 30th, begins July 1. we thought we were going to have a deficit due to the basically the shutdown of our economy, and we were projecting a deficit. We ended up finding out about a month ago that we ended up having a $3.5 million surplus. So, and on top of that, we have the strongest reserves we've ever had. So, it's financially and via economic development, public safety, we're in our strides right now. And like I said, we're thriving. And I think it's important. And it's not to. I like to kind of put up the positives that are out there, understanding that, hey, I know people are hurting individually. I know collectively and individually, but at the end of the day, you also need to celebrate your wins. And wins during these times, there's a lot of value to it, man. And so, but no, we got good people around. We got a great set of residents who are shopping local, eating local, and that makes a huge difference as well, man.
Yeah, it's important for the economic development to be somewhat stable and thriving in this time when most things are just in absolute chaos.
I can tell you right now, it's not happening in other cities. I mean, maybe in a few other cities it's happening, but across, believe me, I talked to other mayors and councilors of other cities. It's not. It's not.
Division.
I wouldn't say chaos, but they're struggling.
Yeah.
They're struggling.
Yeah.
It's challenging right now. Yeah. It's a challenging time economically, for sure.
And I think teamwork has a lot to do with that, right? I mean, the team really pulls together and is pushing to do the best job they can. We're all human. We all make mistakes, but you guys have done a phenomenal job. Speaking of that, one thing I want to talk about too is during this time, we've not only had a pandemic with the coronavirus, but also after the George Floyd situation, we had our protests in our city and a peaceful protest, and it kind of brought out some discussions that you, Alex Frazier, Mike Kiros, Aaron Edwards, Pastor Tim, and Pastor James Turner, that we got together that Sunday afternoon afterwards and said, hey, how do we connect our city and create some type of unity, and that has been really special to try and we're starting it, right? And
it's happening.
And a lot of the protests in our city have ended, but we still want to include everybody and figure out how to break down barriers even more than ever.
Yeah,
right?
I think I think with that it's pretty awesome what we've been able to accomplish and so far, and whatever you want to call it, an inclusionary task force or but what I think among the protests, what's come together is it's created a dialogue to where, hey, look, we need to come together, right? Again, we don't need to divide topics. We agree that we want to live in harmony. We want to live in peace, right? All right, with that being said, why don't we just start having the conversations together, right? So our law enforcement's awesome. Our deputies are incredible. So they've been involved in this inclusionary task force thing. And that is basically getting all our leaders, whether they represent a particular community, and we're not just talking about maybe our Black community, but our Latin community, our Sikh Indian community, our Asian community, and our law enforcement and leaders of church and business and our Chamber of Commerce and our developers, the makeup, city staff, our city manager, councilors, school board members, just the whole makeup all coming together. And it's already happened, right? We already had 2 meetings, and basically it's the goal is how do we connect our community where we understand races, religion, ethnicity, and professional background, meaning law enforcement. How do we come together and create a better level of connectedness? And the beautiful thing about Eastvale is...
And dialogue with all those different entities, right?
Exactly. And that's all you gotta have. You gotta have dialogue, right? You just gotta start having communication, which creates better understanding for each other. And it's kind of crazy. I think Eastvale is the perfect place to do it because we are the most diverse city in Riverside County, one of the most diverse cities in California. And it's kind of funny. People always go like, hey, Brandon, what I love about our city is we're so diverse. And I always go, my answer is kind of like this. It always kind of raises an eyebrow. I'm like, so? What? And what I mean by that is, I don't mean that it's not that I'm not appreciative. I'm very appreciative of it. But what I mean is, okay, what are we doing to optimize it? Because it's one thing to be diverse, great. But what are we doing to optimize that and to demonstrate how we show that outward in our city? And I think that is where our eyes have opened. And that's what we're trying to do is kind of put it outward. Yeah, we know we're the most diverse city, but are we really taking advantage of the opportunity of that diversity and showing that through maybe our restaurants and showing that through collective,
gatherings,
events, gatherings. And we're not, right? So that's the that's the thing that I kind of want to get across and do that. So
and I think
it's been a fun project.
Yeah, and we broke it into 3 things, right? So we want to talk about mentorship for young.
That's important.
Young high school kids.
That rate's highest.
You know, the kids, the youth. If us adults could figure it out in a mature way and grow up and teach our kids, you know, about unity and no divide and just everybody is a human. Everybody has and judge somebody by their character, not by anything else.
100%.
You know, and that builds character. And so the focusing on the youth, focusing on the relationship with the law enforcement officers, and having understanding from their perspective of what their job is, and being a citizen, understanding what they do, and working together to build a safer community, right?
Absolutely.
And then the final one is the culture events, which kind of really is exciting to talk about, you know, different festivals and festivities in our city for cultures that have either migrated here to Eastvale from other countries, and including everybody in their cultural activities.
That's the key. So that's the key. So we'll have certain festivals that go on, and you know, whether it's a full moon festival or other Diwali festival, it's great. But I guess my concern is it's only included for that group of people, and not to say that the invitation is not extended outward. It's that it's not getting spread outward. Because I can tell you, you know, our Eastvale Chinese American Association would gladly love everyone to come to their event, but maybe it's not marketed in such a way where it's everyone's invited. You don't have to be Chinese or any other of an Asian background to go. You can be anybody that can go, and I think that's what we're working on, is to put it out there to everybody.
And I think bridge those communications between all different.
It's the key, man. That is the key, and so we're working on it. And I think it's just.
And I think everybody in these communities really loves their culture. Yeah. And that's what I love about when you talk about diversity, this is really breaking down diversity and making people connect in ways that they never knew. And then it opens your eyes, you know?
And these events.
And they're fun.
They're fun. And you know what, the number one way to connect people in all these events, it's food. Food connects everybody. Food.
Music.
Food, music,
and food, music, you know, and even if
for you, fitness.
For me,
for
fitness.
me,
my cultural thing is just food campaign. That's how I can get people together. I mean, you know, that's one way I can do it.
But you are doing it. You're doing it well,
but that's what I want. I tell everybody when I say all are welcome. When we tell everybody, anybody is welcome. Yeah. I don't think they really understand when I say that. I don't care anything about it. Show up and I promise you you'll make a new friend. Show up and I promise you, you know, the team will be like, we love you. We want to love on people. We want to encourage people to just keep moving, get healthy, and make a new friend, you know, and that's important to us. So we're pumped and things are going, 2020 has been a rough year, right?
Yeah.
Emotionally, mentally, because of the unstableness and everything. But there's a lot of good people in our city doing good things during this time and being creative to make the best of the situation.
Yeah.
And that starts with the leadership, right? Being open to ideas, being open to not just sheltering in place and shedding everybody out, but being like, how do we not make people feel like they're all by themselves? Yeah. They're connected to the city, they're connected to the group. So let's keep doing it, man.
100%, brother. 100%, my man.
What's the plan after mayor?
I don't know. Well, I know, man, you know, I work for a security fire alarm company and I've been with them for 11 years, Bay Alarm. So we're working on our growth right now, and I'm already busier, but I'm going to be busier. Right. I got to imagine the next several months, and not only that, but the big elephant in the room for me is we're looking to foster to adopt.
Okay.
So we went through the fact we only have one more final approval, and then we submit our stuff to the county, and we're basically after that, you know, we'll hopefully get approved. We should. Yeah. And you know, I got to imagine by this year, we'll be fostering by this year, and then our goal is to ultimately adopt.
Yeah.
You know, so I think with that said, I think that was really the decision that that is the reason why that I wasn't going to run, is I don't know what that's going to be like. The time, more particularly the emotion that goes into it. Yeah. So you know, I think it was just twice. The attention you need, and I just and being on council, and it's as much as I love and enjoy it, and there's things I don't like as well, but but overall I love it. But it's extremely time consuming, and it does take a lot of time out of your schedule, and so, and I just don't know if I think it's more of a question that I'm not sure if I would be able to have the time that I would need to give, in my opinion, the time that I would be able to give to our residents in order to do that position effectively. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good. And I don't know. I mean, maybe I'll have some personal time. Maybe do,
but let's talk about the last thing. Me and you have competed in CrossFit together. Okay?
Yeah.
You
really,
hey, listen.
You brought
you
that
were
to
a
me.
member of Eastvale Athletics. Let's talk about Eastvale Athletics.
Oh, yeah, great place,
drop
man.
a plug. Great place. Okay.
Yeah, Paul
and Robin are awesome. They run a great gym in our city. They do great things for the community and very strong people. And we've discussed this, that I'm a CrossFit geek.
Yeah.
And so Paul, 1 year at the regionals, did this workout. And this is where I remember who Paul Castellano was, because I'll never forget, it was Kiki Dixon or Josh on the microphone. And they're like, he's almost done. And he ran and he did like a roll at the finish line. I was like, dude, this guy's a beast. I like him. And Navy guy runs a tight ship, right?
He is.
But it's
I love the way he runs.
Great facility.
Very disciplined facility.
Yeah.
And if you go in there, it's extremely clean. Like it's like you can eat off the floor, man. It's I mean, I wouldn't eat off the floor after a workout, but I guarantee you by the end of the day that place is clean and it's just a great workout. And honestly, it's definitely I just love the way they run that gym. And not only that, but just everyone in that facility and in that box,
right?
I want to call that community, that box. Yeah. They're just dude. It's literally they are. It's a second family. Yeah, it really is to me. And
that's a cool thing about
everyone
it, right?
there, man.
That's a cool thing that they get together in good and bad times. You sweat together. Again, it goes back to being fitness. You move and you exercise together. And you just keep doing it. So
my biggest regret is I didn't do it earlier. And I always say that. My biggest regret.
You've been a gym rat for a long time.
Yeah, I've always been like into powerlifting, and then obviously I play soccer and do a lot of cardio. So I always try to keep my heart rate up and still stay.
And this is different. This is way different, right?
Totally different. Totally different.
It's like running a 5. It's like running a 5K with weights and trying to breathe.
Yeah, I love it though. But
it's fun. It's great.
There's things that definitely cater to my strengths, and I would say I'm good at, and then there's things that I just really suck at.
Yeah, and nobody
I get a little
nobody likes to do those fun. Everybody likes to do the things they're not good at, but it's hard to do the things I do. So.
Yeah. I love it though, man. I love it, brother.
Well, any other things that you want to chat about, or is there anything else exciting coming? The holiday. Oh, let's talk about how are Christmas decorations coming. It is October.
Hey, man.
This BP has the house. If you ever want to go and check out a house that it looks like the Griswolds Christmas tree.
It's legit, man.
It is legit. You
can pull the picture. I'm sure you can pull the picture.
I want you to give us a picture of what your house looks like on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, done. I'll send it to you.
But his house is... It's a Disney movie, you know what I mean? Like he's got every light. You could see it from Mars. It could be a beacon of light if there's ever UFO people
coming. Party too, man. I'm doing it. So now's the time when I start. I already know what I'm doing. Some new different things I'm going to do this year. So I already have that planned.
Yeah, it's October. It's
October, but I got a plan. And then the weekend after Halloween. So whatever that Saturday. Well, in this case, I might even start a little earlier than because Halloween's on Saturday, right? Yeah. So I may start Sunday, basically November 1, start Sunday, putting up lights, and then the goal is, basically Wednesday before Thanksgiving I finish, and Thursday Thanksgiving's the first night I turn them on Thanksgiving. That's kind of been like my tradition, as to get them on by Thanksgiving, everything, and it's pretty fun. It's funny, man. I got people that come by. In like early November. They come by. And I know they're not just driving my cul-de-sac. They will stop on by, and they will sit there and they'll watch me work. And they're like, "Hey, we just wanted to make sure you're still working out there. We just wanted to make sure that you were getting lights on the shirt." And it's pretty, it makes me happy that people really anticipate it.
Yeah.
They love it, and they get I get hundreds of cars.
It's the Plott Light Festival of Eastvale.
There's a lot of good lights in.
There's homes.
There's a boatload of good. Like my buddy Tim Coucher. He puts.
Coucher does it. Crazy house.
He goes crazy.
He goes crazy too.
Yeah, he goes crazy.
Really?
So there's a lot of really good houses that do a lot of good lights, man. Good displays, man.
So I mean, putting 2020 almost being done. Hopefully looking for a positive 2021 and getting things better. And we're looking forward to it. And BP, we've already talked about him coming back on because we just love chatting together.
No, it's always fun.
We got good vibes. We always have great conversation. Dear friend. And I mean that. Like we're good buddies, man.
Man.
You've done so much for us. You've done so much for me personally. When I got sick, when I, You know, so I'm excited for your new next chapter with the new adoption. I can't wait. You know, P's gonna have a little sister, you know, or brother soon, or whatever you guys end up happening. But you know, that's exciting news. So
I'll be pumped
looking forward to your next chapter.
Well, we appreciate you, man. Everything that you do and what you've done for the city, and I know for me personally, you had that experience going through that with you, man, and what you were going through. It definitely has strengthened my ability of what it means to be mentally tough and grit.
Before we end this, we got to talk about we always talk about struggle to strength, right? Some people may not know this. There's going to be video footage of you doing the craziest pull-ups I've ever seen you do before.
Are you going to show that, man?
We are. We're gonna.
It's kind of embarrassing.
No, it's not. It's actually. It was
disclaimer. I was so amped up.
Brandon's first competition. His
my adrenaline was going nuts, man.
And it was just chin over the bar. Brandon's pull-ups looked like he was gonna fly. I've never seen anybody do pull-ups. He was so pumped, and it was great. Me and him competed together, and it was
good. We actually did really good, man.
It was fun. We had a great time.
We were the oldest. We were the oldest
category. Oldest duo, but Brandon did these pull-ups, and I'm like, man, he's flying. But what people don't know about Brandon, because he's physically dominated when you look at him, is that he was born without a heel. Show him your feet. Show him what's up. Show him what's up. Show him.
I was born without a heel, and I apologize, dude, because my feet. I got bit up so bad the other night, and so I apologize.
So Brandon was born without.
Can you see that? Is that good?
Yeah, Matt, can you see that? So Brandon was born without a heel.
Yeah. So basically,
and a super athlete growing up.
My feet. Two sizes obviously different. I was born with a gimp. You know, my first steps were in a cast. I walked at 10 months. I have the little cast, as tiny as can be. I was in a cast. I was gimpy. The skeletal structure, obviously, of my feet are 2 sizes smaller. So, and then my ankles are the skeletal structure there is quite a bit smaller, and then the muscular feature. There's a lot of atrophy that occurred in basic, when you have growing pains when you're younger, you start, and for me, I was playing a lot of soccer, and that actually helped get rid of that gimpiness. Was playing soccer's really, and that's why I still play till today. I have a great appreciation because it actually changed my life. But at the same time, the muscular atrophy really started showing. So my calves are completely two different sizes. Everything from the knee up is normal size. So
the calf down
it's extremely different,
So balance, coordination,
balance is really I mean, the fact that I can only literally jump this high with my left foot, but you get me on a 30-inch, even I can go higher on a box jump. It's really my left foot's going for the ride. It's all coming from my right side, and doing that and jumping, but. Learning how to run different. Learn how to run a little differently, but I've always been a sprinter anyways. So I've just, I think that the key to, when you say about strengths, kind of the whole thing about being your weaknesses being your strengths. I think for me, and my grandpa had always told me this, but I've always worked with a chip on my shoulder, and I've learned. I think for me, I've always had to work harder to at least compete. Whether it was playing soccer or whatever sport. I mean, I play a lot of different sports.
Or when we play basketball.
I've always had to work harder.
Basketball team together,
I've always had to work.
You went to the hole better than I could. I mean, you drove to that hole. You weren't playing.
That was funny, man. But you just had to learn. You learn how to just work harder. And I think it's not about the physicalness of it. It's actually the principle of working harder or working efficiently. And so,
and your grandfather pushed
he kind of just, he just gave great advice about it. And not only that, but he was something that he recognized in me and says, this kid's going to go somewhere as a young age because he's already learning. He already has to work hard. And so that will, and it has. And you know what? It's carried over into my professional life, into, just work in general, right? Just being able to work hard and work smart. Those are things that I appreciate about being born with this deficiency. Right, and you can, in essence, call it a handicap, right? I mean, it is a handicap.
No, it's a disability.
It's a disability.
It's not.
It's a disability.
Yeah.
Legitimately, like when I was looking to want to go enlist in the Army, they would not let me enlist in the Army, right? Because of that. And so, it's. I
would have taken you in my foxhole any day.
Oh yeah, thank you, brother. I appreciate it, man.
Still to this day.
And they wouldn't. I wasn't able to. Right, I wasn't able to do it. So. It's just one of those things, and it's one of the things I greatly appreciate for you, and I like to tell that story to other people, and when they see that, and I always share it with people. And now it's kind of one of those things like I really don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I'll wear shorts, like don't matter. People will look like, what's up with your left leg? And like, I tell them a story, man. This is what it, this is what it is.
But that's what I'm saying. Like people like BP is by far the most fit mayor we've ever had. I would, let me just put this out there. I would put my mayor up against anybody in the nation right now as being the most fit person I've ever seen in a political office. And 3, 2, 1, go. Name one more, go for it. I guarantee you can't find him. And but that is what I like about that is it's encouraging to those kids out there that may have a disability, or even an older person goes, oh, I can't do it. I only have this or I only have that. No, that's an excuse. And you have taken that disability and you've turned it into one of your strengths, right? I mean,
and it's still, the crazy thing is it still exists. It's still a challenge. Like right now this is kind of more of a selfish thing. Like right now I'm learning how to do clean and jerk and snatch, particularly the clean and jerk. It's very hard because of my left foot. And balance. Because I cannot, the ankle strength isn't as superior to the right. Not to, I'm kind of digressing. But it still isn't an issue, right? Yeah. And so I'm just trying to find a way to where
compensate that.
I can compensate to learn. Okay, how can I work around that? You know, especially when you get to that jerk, like that's the hardest thing for me is how to get that bounce off my feet and to get into a power or a split position. It's very tough, right? And this is a new thing I'm learning. Like it's a completely new thing now.
But you went from playing as a kid playing soccer to playing basketball and not just letting it limit you on what you can do. You've found ways to work with it and get stronger because of it.
100%.
I love it.
I mean, you got Davey over there too, man. I mean,
yeah, David Lynn.
Guy doesn't have
Davey Lynn.
David doesn't have any legs, right?
He has
what a
no
stud,
legs.
absolute stud, man.
No legs. I've seen him in a competition before. No legs, and he just crushes it. You know what I mean? Like, and doesn't let that excuse him.
I appreciate the hell out of that, man.
It's inspiring. And when you hear like inspiring stories about this is real, like life, no legs, and makes no excuses. And will tell you to seize the day. Is seeing, carpe diem. He told it in his first speech he gave us, like, seize the day. And good dude, really good dude.
I love that guy, man.
Yeah. So, BP, we appreciate you, man.
Hey, I appreciate you. I didn't know we were gonna get to my feet, man. But hell, we got real personal.
We got deep.
We got personal, man. Man.
We love April. We love Little P. And we're excited for the future of your guys' addition to your family.
Hey, my man.
So
thanks, brother. I appreciate it, man.
All right.
We'll see you guys.
Take care.